Speculation continues to mount as fans dissect every possible clue, from timing to tone. Some claim that Jungkook's silence on the viral Japanese fan performance was deafening, especially considering how much attention it received. The performance was widely praised, even by non-fans, as a heartfelt homage to Jin's artistry and his emotional connection with ARMY. The absence of any visible reaction from Jungkook has left fans unsettled. Fueling the rumors, several fan accounts began circulating supposed screenshots and timestamps showing that Jungkook had been following Jin on a specific platform only days prior to the Japan event, and now the name has mysteriously vanished. While there's no confirmed evidence from official or verified sources, that hasn't stopped the online discourse from exploding. Many fans believe it could be the result of an internal conflict within BTS, something long hidden beneath their polished public image. The timing of the alleged unfollowing has only added more fuel to the theory. Jin's return from military service was supposed to be a celebratory moment, but to some, it now feels overshadowed by this perceived shift in group dynamics. Others, however, remain skeptical. They argue that private accounts can be altered at any time, that algorithms often hide or misplace connections, and that no one should draw conclusions without direct confirmation from the members themselves. They also highlight how close Jungkook and Jin have historically been, known for playful banter, mutual respect, and emotional moments both on and off stage. Still, the emotional undertone of Moon, Jin's ballad dedicated to the fans, is now being reinterpreted by some as a metaphor for his role within the group. Fans are revisiting old interviews, song lyrics, and behind-the-scenes footage with a new lens, trying to decode hidden messages or moments of tension. Some even speculate that Moon might carry layered meanings that extend beyond the ARMY fan relationship, perhaps even addressing feelings of distance or unspoken longing between the members themselves. As the theories spiral, a growing number of fans are urging the fandom to focus on unity rather than division. They warn that projecting drama onto every social media move risks turning ARMY culture into a breeding ground for unnecessary conflict. But in the world of K-pop, where every gesture is analyzed and every silence is scrutinized, such appeals often fall on deaf ears. For now, there is no official word from Jungkook, Jin, or Big Hit. Whether this is all just a misunderstanding, a coincidence, or something more personal remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. The bond between BTS and their fans is strong, and like the moon and earth in Jin's song, always under watchful eyes. Until the truth surfaces, fans are left in limbo, caught between loyalty, curiosity, and concern, asking the question that now echoes across fan forums and trending hashtags: what's really happening behind the scenes? The atmosphere online has shifted dramatically. What started as a celebratory fan moment has become the center of controversy, with factions forming rapidly. Some fans have grown defensive, shielding both Jungkook and Jin from the storm, insisting that the narrative being pushed is manufactured by those desperate for drama. Others, however, seem almost convinced that something deeper is unraveling within BTS, a subtle fracture exposed by a single missing follow. It's not the first time fans have tried to read between the lines of BTS's social interactions, but this moment feels different. Jin's recent return from military service was highly anticipated, and fans were eager to see how the group's dynamic would evolve now that the eldest member was back in the spotlight. Instead of a warm reunion, what they got was silence, and now suspicion. Jungkook, who has always maintained a relatively reserved online presence despite his global popularity, has neither confirmed nor denied the rumors. His focus has seemingly been on his own solo endeavors, which some interpret as a natural progression in his career, but others as emotional distancing. The absence of any gesture toward Jin's fan event, no comment, no like, no repost, is, to many, a loud silence. Jin, meanwhile, has remained gracious and cheerful in his recent appearances, expressing deep gratitude to the ARMY and even becoming emotional during certain moments. Fans at the event in Japan described him as glowing and genuinely touched by the dedication shown through the Moon cover. Yet behind that smile, many now wonder if something else was brewing, perhaps something personal, something that couldn't be hidden under the surface of professionalism and performance. The fandom is now in a state of emotional disarray. For every post demanding answers, there is another urging compassion. Some are revisiting past videos where Jin and Jungkook were seen laughing together, singing in harmony, or sharing warm exchanges. They're grasping for reassurance, proof that the brotherhood fans have cherished for over a decade hasn't changed. Still, social media continues to be flooded with speculation. Theories range from petty disagreements over artistic direction to deeper emotional rifts. Some even question whether the pressure of solo success is taking a toll on the group's internal balance. With each member striving to carve out their own identity, perhaps the closeness they once shared is being strained. The truth, of course, may never fully come to light, and perhaps it doesn't need to. As artists, Jin and Jungkook have always navigated fame with a mix of transparency and guarded privacy, revealing just enough to connect with their fans, but never everything. This moment, whether a digital glitch, a personal choice, or a misunderstanding, may be nothing more than a footnote in a much bigger story. Still, the question persists. Fans are left watching, waiting, refreshing feeds and clinging to theories. In the absence of answers, they hold on to lyrics, memories, and the emotional bonds that BTS has built over years. "You are my earth, and I am just a moon," Jin once sang. A quiet confession of orbit, distance, and devotion. And now, perhaps more than ever, those words feel heavier than before. Until something more is revealed, the world continues to wonder, has the moon begun to drift further from the earth, or are we simply lost in the shadows of our own expectations? As the speculation deepens, so does the emotional investment of the fans. Across platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and Weverse, the conversation has grown louder, more chaotic, and far more personal. Fan theories now intertwine with emotional projections, fears of betrayal, sadness over imagined distance, and nostalgia for a time when the members of BTS seemed inseparable. Even minor gestures from either Jungkook or Jin are now examined under a microscope, their every word and silence interpreted as possible confirmation of a rift. This emotional intensity is not new in K-pop fandoms, but the case of BTS carries extra weight. The group has always projected an image of deep brotherhood, often referring to each other as family. To many fans, they represent not just music or performance, but emotional anchors, symbols of hope, healing, and unwavering unity. The idea that there could be a falling out, even a subtle or unspoken one, feels like a betrayal not only between the members themselves, but also between the group and its global fanbase. Jungkook's social media behavior, usually lighthearted or quietly artistic, has taken on a new tone in the eyes of many. Even innocuous posts are now being read through a lens of suspicion. When he shared a cryptic Instagram story with a dark filter and a short caption, "Some things are better left unsaid," fans were quick to link it to the unfolding situation. Was it a passive-aggressive response, a commentary on the fan event, or simply a coincidence? Jin, by contrast, has remained largely positive, offering warm words and emotional reflections during fan interactions. Yet some fans claim to see something behind his smiles, a tightness around the eyes, a pause in his words, the kind of subtle melancholy that only longtime followers might notice. One fan wrote in a widely shared thread, "He looked proud, but also lonely, like he knew someone important wasn't watching." In the vacuum of facts, emotion has become the primary fuel. Fans now write essays, record emotional reaction videos, and share artwork depicting Jin and Jungkook as celestial bodies drifting apart. It's poetic in a way. A fandom built on connection, now struggling with the possibility of disconnection. Some fans mourn what they believe is lost,
Others still hold out hope that the bond remains, simply hidden for now. Still, questions remain unanswered. Was there an unfollow at all? Could this have been a technical error, a private account adjustment, or something as mundane as a bug? Big Hit Music has made no official statement, and neither Jungkook nor Jin have addressed the rumors. Their silence, whether intentional or simply a desire to maintain privacy, has only intensified the intrigue. In the end, this may be nothing more than another storm in the vast ocean of online fandom culture. Intense, emotional, and ultimately fleeting. But for now, the waters are choppy. The army watches and waits, scrolling endlessly, refreshing timelines, searching for signs of resolution, of reassurance, of reunion.
And somewhere beneath it all, the simple lyric remains, echoing softly in the minds of millions. You are my earth, and I am just the moon. What was once a beautiful metaphor now feels like a quiet question. Is the moon still in orbit, or has it started to drift away? But even as the fandom tries to navigate the uncertainty, there's a palpable sense that something has shifted. Whether it's real or imagined, temporary or permanent, the mood among ARMY has grown heavier. For some, this moment feels like the first time BTS has shown real distance, not just in their physical schedules or solo projects, but in spirit. It's a quiet ache, unconfirmed but deeply felt, like sensing someone's absence in a room even when they haven't said a word. There are those who try to push back against the narrative, reminding others that the members of BTS are human beings, not characters in a drama written for public consumption. They argue that not everything has to be explained or shared, that relationships evolve, and that fans aren't owed every detail of their idols' private lives. But even those voices carry an undertone of anxiety, the need to defend, to protect, to make sense of what now feels uncertain. The fan base, once united by a sense of collective warmth, now finds itself fragmented. Some want answers, some want peace, some just want to believe everything is fine. And in the absence of any clear sign, people began to create their own stories, rewriting old moments, reinterpreting lyrics, revisiting old clips where Jin and Jungkook laughed together, leaned on each other, or stood quietly side by side. The silence, too, has become deafening. A single comment from either of them could dissolve the tension, but none comes. Instead, the void is filled with speculative threads, emotional fan art, imagined text messages, and montage videos set to melancholic BTS ballads. The line between reality and fandom fantasy grows blurrier with each passing hour. Even the most grounded fans, those who avoid fan wars and stay away from gossip, admit that this moment feels different. Not because there's proof of anything happening, but because of how deeply it's being felt. It's not just about a follow or unfollow. It's about the fear that something sacred might be changing. The relationship between the members, the magic they built together, the invisible thread that always seemed unbreakable. Perhaps this is a natural stage in their journey. The boys who grew up together are now men with separate paths, separate identities, and individual voices. They are allowed to grow, to shift, to take space when needed. But that truth doesn't make it any easier for those who have spent years emotionally invested in the idea of 7 stars moving in perfect formation. So for now, the fandom waits, not just for clarification, but for comfort. A photo, a casual interaction, a shared joke, anything to confirm that the story they've held onto for so long is still intact. That even if the moon drifts slightly, it always returns to the pull of the earth. And maybe someday soon, the silence will break. Maybe Jin will post a photo with Jungkook.
Maybe Jungkook will laugh during a live stream and mention Jin's name with that familiar spark in his voice. Or maybe they'll simply show up together on the stage, standing side by side, reminding everyone, without saying a word, that no matter how far they go, they're still connected by something deeper than anyone else can see. Until then, fans hold on to lyrics, to memories, to belief. Because sometimes love isn't loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's just a moon orbiting its Earth. Steady, unseen, and still close, even in the dark.